Finding the right valuation company for your reverse mortgage appraisals is key. Now, one of the most trusted teams in reverse appraisals is back with a new name, Atlas Valuation. To learn more, visit atlasvms.com or call or click on the banner below this video. Partner with Atlas today.
Happy Friday, everyone. We're back with Dr. Stephen Campbell with Center. He's an executive coach, and he helps individuals and organizations perform at their optimal efficiency and performance. And so, Stephen, good to have you back again.
Great to be back.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we're thinking about an idea I call the balance of flow, which is about really a work-life balance issue. It's a self-care. In some of the leadership literature, they talk about it from a perspective of self-leadership. How do you help lead yourself well so that you're not going to get to burnout and where you're like, I'm out, like I can't handle this anymore, all that kind of stuff. So
I think some of us have felt that way
before.
Right. Well, I think we could all use it, and I know there's always that tyranny that happens inside of us where we're just like, I'm spread too thin.
Exactly.
So where do we start in this process? Because I know some of our viewers are going, yeah, Dr. Stephen, I just really struggle with this.
Yep. So the metaphor that I use for this that I think is the most helpful is to recognize that we all have kind of an internal emotional tank from which we function. And the level of that tank is what helps to kind of give us an indicator of how well we're doing at either feeling like we're low, and so we're on the edge of maybe the burnout, or that we're running on fumes, kind of an idea, or are we working from a place where the level is fuller? But here's the thing about this process is that when I'm working in my job or I'm spending time with my family or whatever it is, a lot of times what happens is I'm giving out from that container inside,
to
that
your family?
Internal bucket. Yeah, I'm pouring myself out, right? I'm giving of myself to those who are around me. I can do that in work. I can do that with family. I can do that with teammates, right? There's all of the facets of that where I'm giving myself away. That naturally drains that internal bucket, that internal container. Because that's how we do, right? We give, right? We serve. We want to help other people. That's a part of that process.
Yep.
Here's the thing, though. If we aren't also figuring out at the same time what the inputs are to help keep the tank refilled, then we're going to get to the place where we give. The tank is now empty, and now we're on that edge of, I can't handle anymore. I'm spread too thin. I can't, all that. It's that old, I'll age myself here. It's that old Calgon Take Me Away commercial. I can't.
Classic.
Right?
Yeah, soak in the tub, right?
Exactly, right? Well, what's interesting about that is the soak in the tub might be one of those things that's one of those input pieces.
So maybe it was true.
Right?
Yeah.
So the idea, though, is for me to learn about myself. What are the kinds of inputs that I need, and how do I incorporate those on a regular basis into my life so I can create a healthy balance of flow? So that, yes, I'm still going to give myself away in my job, with my family, with others around me.
No way of avoiding that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But I'm also making sure that I'm taking time, and I'm making sure I'm taking care of me in a way. I'm leading myself in a way in which I'm refilling that tank. I'm refilling that bucket so that I have more to give.
Right.
So part of the key in this process is to recognize, because sometimes people will say, well, isn't that selfish? Well, if I'm not taking care of me and my tank is low, I don't have anything to give to you.
Yeah.
But if I'm making sure that my inputs are good and I have the flow coming in, now I have a reservoir from which I can give. And that actually isn't selfish for me to do that, because it makes me a better giver for you.
So you can say the inverse of that is, if I don't take care of myself, I'm more prone to be selfish or to appear so.
Very true.
Because I have nothing to give.
Exactly right. Exactly. Because now I'm actually in self-protective mode.
Right.
Right? Like I'm literally barely making it. And so I'm maybe rude even at times in my, no, I can't do that, or I'm not going to, whatever.
Reactionary.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm so low, and it's like, man, what's wrong with him? Right? Like what's his deal?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's my tank is so low because I haven't been taking care of myself. Practically, let me give you a couple ideas here, because
nitty-gritty.
there's there's a couple of layers when I invite leaders to begin to think about what are the kinds of inputs that are helpful to you. I like to have people think about that in a couple of categories. One is, what are the small pieces of things that you can do, and how are they repeatable? So I was working with a leader once, and they were talking to me about, at the end of the day, I just feel totally done. I've given everything I have during the course of the day, and then I get home and I just feel like I walk in the door and it's like, now we need more from you. And I was like, I don't
get bombarded, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, tell me this. How much time does it take you between when you leave your office and when you get home? What's your commute? And they said, well, I only live 5 minutes from the house. And I said, okay. Is there a way for you to take a different route home?
Say, take a detour, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where you might get yourself 15 minutes a route home that takes 15 minutes instead of 5 minutes, and that extra 10 minutes, maybe you'd like to listen to music, right? Maybe you like to have no sound on in the car whatsoever, right?
Good.
Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the extra 10 minutes is enough to help the level come back up, so that when you walk in the door, you're not now like, I can't even do this.
Right. So, I mean, you could just detour and maybe go down to the bridge.
Exactly.
Walk across that same bridge.
Exactly.
Get back in the car.
Right. So that's it. That's an example of something that's small and repeatable.
Right.
Because maybe what I need is every day to have a 15-minute commute instead of a 5-minute commute to give me 10 extra minutes of decompression time before I walk in the door.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a small, repeatable piece. The other piece then is to say, what are the things that are a little bit bigger that are also repeatable, that are like, maybe I need to once a month have a half a day of total unplug, right? Something like that. Or I'm a person who loves the outdoors. Maybe what I need is once a month, I need to know that I have to have a whole day where I'm going to be in nature. I'm going to be taking a walk. Maybe I'm a mountain biker, whatever it is, right? Like
backpacking, whatever
exactly,
you want.
right? Because I know that one day is like turning on a hose for filling up my bucket.
Yeah.
But that's also something that's relatively repeatable as well. So the bigger things that are repeatable in a more regular frequency.
So we have to kind of schedule those?
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of look at my schedule and I try and figure out, okay, I'm going to have a half a day here where I have no appointments because I get to be in charge of my schedule. So I'm going to have a half a day where I have no appointments, and that half a day, I'm going to read. Maybe I'm going to literally go out and take a hike with the dogs. whatever it is.
Turn your phone off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then the third category are, what are the bigger chunks of disconnect? This is where, honestly, I think we've done a really poor job of managing like our time away, especially in this new economy where you can work from almost any place at any time.
You're always available, aren't you?
Vacations have become extra work time for many of us. I know they have for me.
Ouch.
Right?
Yeah.
And so how do I actually figure out, how do I build in, again, probably not as realistic to do this sort of once a quarter maybe, but is there a time once a year where I'm really going to disconnect?
Right.
And where I'm going to turn off the email. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on the Google auto reply that says, here's who you can talk to if you need help in the next, whatever.
Have a great month. Have a great
exactly.
week. Yeah, right.
Now, I understand that we can't always do that entirely, right? Depending on what the circumstances are. But that's another category that I think is important, especially in our world today that's so digitally connected. This post-COVID world where you can work anytime, anywhere, from any place.
Which can be convenient, but
it's got a back edge to it, right?
Yeah.
It's got an edge that can cut two ways.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing, and it can also just drain the bucket like crazy.
Wow.
So those are some of those really practical things that
Yeah.
I encourage people to think through, and to recognize that you might have different inputs than somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Somebody might be a reader, somebody might be an outdoor person, somebody might be I love to do crossword puzzles or whatever it might be, right? But to think about those categories of regular, small, repeatable, bigger but more frequent, repeatable, and then the big ones.
What are some of the big ones?
Well, like you're going to take 2 weeks and you're going to totally unplug.
Mini sabbatical, right?
Exactly, yeah. Or
that makes
or
sense.
you're just going to use your vacation as an actual vacation, right? Like
For sure, yeah. No, some of the people I spoke to in our industry, especially the ones that are independent operators. Right?
Sure.
So you've got the man or woman out there who's a reverse mortgage professional,
right?
And their clients are calling them, and the good ones are in contact all the time, right?
Right.
Finding the right valuation company for your reverse mortgage appraisals is key. Now, one of the most trusted teams in reverse appraisals is back with a new name, Atlas Valuation. To learn more, visit atlasvms.com or call or click on the banner below this video. Partner with Atlas today.